Hello again, guitar folks. I did that again. I always do that when I record, don't I? Anyways, Mr. Koenig here for a weekly guitar recap. Someone asked, Mr. Koenig, do you always wear the same blue shirt every time that you record? And I said, well, I don't wear the same blue shirt every time that I record, but it has sort of become a habit, isn't it? Anyhow, I put forth a challenge to the guitar students this week. Actually, two challenges. One that's not really a challenge at all. We're going to get started on our Incredible Idols program, which is a program that we do in MIDI for kids, kind of as a keeping us on track throughout the year. The first step in the Incredible Idols is going to be headshots. I'm going to bring my camera and we're going to get some good pictures of the kids with their guitars. So next week, which would be November 8th, they're allowed to bring anything that they would like to include in a picture. If they want to have their guitar and a stuffed animal, if they want to wear part of a costume or a funny hat or glasses or something like that, that's fine. We'll take some nice pictures. We'll get them printed out and put up. We might even put them on our website. Who knows? We'll see how that works out. Anyhow, that's the first challenge, so be creative. And then the second one is this. It's the first, Mr. Koenig's first practice challenge. Any student this week, and this week only, who practices more than 150 minutes total will be able to come with a friend, one friend, and have lunch with me sometime in the next week or so. Might be a big group thing, or it might be just one or two at a time, but anybody who practices 150 minutes, they can have lunch. The stipulation to that is it must be documented and marked down, initialed or signed by a parent. So don't just come in telling me, I practiced 150 minutes. Nope. If it's written down some way on a sheet of paper, on a card, or emailed by a parent, be good to go. So that starts tonight, between tonight, Tuesday the 1st, and next week, Tuesday the 8th. Probably Monday the 7th, I reckon. Anyhow, here is what to practice if you are planning on getting in that 150 minutes. First of all, we worked on Flamenco Nino. This song has two distinct portions that are totally different. First half includes chords. When we see chord symbols, they're a letter over top of the staff, the notation, or in this case, simply the slashes for each strum. I played this last week, but let's just review. Our E major chord looks like so, and sounds the same. It sounds just like that. When we play this F/E, what that means is we're going to take the fingers that are playing the E major chord and we're going to simply slide them up the fretboard one fret, and we get that funky sound here. So each slash is one strum. So this should sound like Flamenco Nino. Sorry, been a long day. Halloween last night, right? All those trick-or-treaters. Should sound something like this. Cinco, seis. Cinco, seis. Dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. And it repeats. A couple things to consider. We're going to be kind of gentle on our strums. I see some kids trying to strum like and being really hard on it. Watch this. Fluidity. You can even use the back of the fingernails here. And it gives a nice sound as well. But if you're using your thumb, just gently there. So that's the first half of Flamenco Nino. The second half incorporates what we call guitar tablature. What that means, this looks somewhat like a staff, a musical staff, but rather than having 5 lines where we put notes, the quarter notes and eighth notes and 16th notes and such, we have the 6 strings of the guitar, and they're in order from first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. The thing with tabs is when we read it, it looks a little bit backwards. See, the top string up here is actually the sixth string of the guitar, and that's indicated at the bottom down here. Probably because it's the lowest string. So the lead bass part 1 is going to sound something like this. We went over that in class. Notice it's just open and first fret. The important key is to keep your eyes up on the page that you have in front of you and not on the fretboard. Once your fingers are in position here, we just have to move them. That thumb back behind the neck, if it's just anchored there, you have no problem. Lead bass part 2 should sound something like this. Noticing that we're crossing strings here. We're using the 5th string and the 6th string. What that means is here, this open note is actually the open 5th string, and so on and so forth. Just to play a little bit here, I'm going to actually put on the recording of Flamenco Nino so that you can kind of hear how it is put together. I won't play the whole thing. You all have the CDs. Dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. Cinco, seis. Cinco, seis. Dos, tres. Here's lead bass part 1. Repeat it. Here we go. Part 2. My apologies. Try it again. Cinco, seis. Dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. And so on and so forth. You can have as much fun as with that as you would like. It says down here the rest of the song is up to you to figure out. I'll give you a hint. It's just a repeat of the entire thing. Take it from me. Done it many times here. Okay, the other thing that we were working on, that's plenty to work on as it is. But the other thing that we were working on is, once again, our first string E patterns. Now, the great thing about all of this is once you know some of these patterns, once you've gotten them down pat, they start to become your musical vocabulary. They start to become portions of words, so to speak, that you can use in creating new music and improvising and making great music. So, you know, when I'm playing along with the blues, and a student plays something like, they play those patterns that we're practicing here. It starts to sound like that musical language. So in class we're working on the first several. Here what I would love to get to is some of our further ones, like 15, which sounds like 16 sounding like 17, here I go. 18, here I go. 19, number 20, here it is. 21 is kind of funky. Number 22, and so on and so forth. I'll leave some for your children to figure out. I've got 4 pages of these, which is totally fantastic. More than enough to work on. But if you're thinking about that 150 minutes of practice, 28 is almost 30. That would be 5 minutes on each one. I don't know if you would spend 5 minutes on each line. However, a minute or two, that's going to add up quite a bit and quite quickly. So those are the main things to practice for this week. So we've got Flamenco Nino. We've got our scale patterns on the first string. Remember, headshots next week. We'll take some nice pictures. And so dress how you would like to for that. And second is that practice challenge, 150 minutes. A couple kids already earned a couple minutes, a couple bonus minutes. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to email me, Chris_Koenig at roundrockisd.org, or check out my webpage. Pass this video along. Have your kids watch it many times. You can even count the practicing along with the video as practice minutes. Just something to keep in mind. This is Mr. Koenig signing off, wishing you happy practicing. We'll see you next time.